Hi, everyone. My name is Brianna Carmen, and I am the Director of Organizing and Partnerships at Voto Latino Foundation. I am so excited to be here with you all, albeit virtually, to celebrate the amazing Latinx in Tech Festival and our community that is powerful, intelligent, bold, and is going to be a deciding factor in this year's election. And at Voto Latino, we know this. Voto Latino is a grassroots political organization focused on educating and empowering a new generation of Latinx voters, as well as creating a more robust and inclusive democracy. Through our innovative digital campaigns, culturally relevant programs, and authentic voices, we shepherd the Latinx community towards full realization of its political power. In our 16-year history, we've been at the forefront of political, cultural, and digital trends for organizing and activating Latinx. In August of 2004, Voto Latino was officially launched at MTV Studios in New York City. A couple years later in 2006, Voto Latino launched its first ever voter registration effort through text messaging in its Text to Represent campaign. Aimed at registering Latinx youth, Voto Latino pioneered the use of texting as a political tool. And we still use this today to ensure that our community has the information they need, sending millions of text messages to reach our gente in the palm of their hand, enabling them to make informed decisions for themselves and those they love. In March 2010, Voto Latino announced Be Counted, an initiative to ensure that Latinx were counted in the 2010 census. The campaign generated 15,000 pledges to fill out the census form and resulted in $150 million in federal funding for Latinx communities. Fast forward a decade, and Voto Latino has registered 510,000 and counting eligible voters this election season with the help of over 6,000 volunteers. We've continued pushing Latinx civic engagement to the forefront and ensuring we are front and center in the most important conversations facing our nation today. As we look ahead to November 3rd, we ask ourselves, why is this important? Well, Latinx will be the second largest voting bloc in the 2020 election. This means that 32 million of us will be eligible to vote. These are powerful numbers, though the data shows that unfortunately less than half of that 32 million are currently registered. So, Voto Latino is working to make sure that all eligible Latinx voters are registered and ready to cast a ballot this election. We work every day as one of the nation's premier voting registration outfits dedicated to the Latinx community to educate and empower individuals to not only register, but to show up and participate in every election. When we talk about the Latinx community, we know they're important in states like Arizona and Florida. What you might not know is that we're incredibly impactful in places like Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, and Michigan too. All roads to 270 electoral votes, which any presidential candidate needs to win this election, go through us. They used to call us the sleeping giant. What the politicos and campaigns are just grappling with is the realization that we are set to play a major role in American politics for decades to come. And politicians need to recognize not only the political power that we hold, but the massive lack of recognition and service paid to us for decades. So we're calling on you to help build this future together. And with that, I have two asks. One, please vote for your community. Latinx communities tend to face particularly challenging issues: racial profiling by law enforcement, gentrification, a lack of affordable housing, unsafe workplaces and unfair wages, segregated public schools, and immigration raids, to name a few. These issues will only be addressed equitably when Latinx voices, including our most marginalized and vulnerable, are at the table. That means turning out to vote and supporting candidates that understand the community and the issues we face. That means also being a candidate yourself or donating to their campaigns for the people you believe in. 2, please vote for your future. Are you worried about climate change? Are you thinking about how you're going to pay off thousands of dollars in student loans? Are you hoping that you'll have health insurance when you need it, or just keeping your fingers crossed that you won't get sick? Vote for leaders that are committed to solving these problems for you with real and meaningful policy that impacts you and future generations. At the end of the day, you matter and you are a deciding force in this election. We need you. There are 3 actions that you can take right now to help our community. 1, take out your phone and text PLAN to 73179 to make a plan to vote. That's PLAN, P-L-A-N, to 73179. You'll be directed to our website and our Make a Plan tool, where you'll be able to see important information around the election to help you make the best choice for you individually, whether that's mailing in your ballot or possibly voting in early and taking your Germex, or showing up on election day. The second action that you can take is sign up to volunteer with us. As I mentioned, we are texting millions of individuals all over the country in states like Nevada, Florida, Pennsylvania, Georgia, Texas, and California to ensure that they have the information that they need to know when their polling locations are open, get discounted rides to the polls, and be most aware and informed of how the election is going to be carried out. And the third action that ties in to this is take the census. Visit somosmas.org to take the census before October 31st. somosmas.org before October 31st. The census impacts how we carry out elections for the next decade, what type of districts we have set up, how many representative seats that there are that you get to vote for later on, and even information like if this material is translated into different languages for the election.